Hello, friends. Today is normally my day off. It's Sunday, and I woke up, I played a bit of video games for a little bit, and then I thought, you know what? I kind of miss you guys and girls. I want to hang out with you a little bit today. So I thought I would sit down, record a pretty chill podcast, and hang out with you guys and girls and talk about a concept that I see quite a lot in self improvement, which is something called medium maximization. And it's probably best summed up by this psychology article, because it's a psychological term. Medium maximization is the tendency to focus on immediate outcomes. In other words, you become so obsessed with the short term stuff that you stop asking yourself, wait, is this actually leading to my long term goals? In other words, you get so caught up in like your daily habits that you forget to actually stop and ask yourself, is this habit even helping me anymore? As a really good example, let's say that you decide to lose weight. And the way that you start doing that is you say, I'm, morbidly obese right now, so I'm going to go outside and I'm going to walk around for 10 minutes a day. And that's at least starting this habit of exercise. And so you go outside and you walk for 10 minutes. And while you're really obese, that 10 minutes might help you lose, a pound a week, maybe 2 pounds a week, because at least you're moving now and you weren't moving before, but now you're getting something done. But medium maximization is when you are so obsessed with that 10 minutes that you just only focus on that 10 minutes of walking every day. And so you're slowly losing weight, but then at some point you start to plateau. And that 10 minutes of going outside and walking around, it's not helping you lose weight anymore. You've lost enough weight. You've lost all the weight that you could lose from doing that. And now you're still overweight, you're still obese, but 10 minutes isn't doing anything because your body has adapted. Your body is now used to walking around for 10 minutes. You're not really burning many calories. But with medium maximization, you're so obsessed with that 10 minutes that that's the only thing you focus on. And you forget to take a break and a pause and say, wait, is this even helping me anymore? Or do I need to change something? Because a lot of the time with your self-improvement goals, the thing that helps you at the start is not the thing that will keep giving you success at the end. Like what you do when you're a beginner is often completely different to what you're going to do later on. But medium maximization is just the word that we use to describe when you forget to actually check and say, wait, is this actually helping me with my goals? I have a friend who calls this like action faking instead of action taking. It's like you look like you're taking a bunch of action. And I mean, technically you are, but the action isn't moving you towards your goals. It's almost like you're faking it. You're doing something, but it's not the actual action that you need to be taking. And probably the biggest area I see this in is when it comes to men wanting to date or have sex with or get into a relationship with women. So at the very start, they will say, I want to get a girlfriend or I want to have a lot of sex. And the way that they're going to start doing that is by going outside and approaching women on the street and saying, hey, you're really pretty. You're cute. I'm Andy. What's up? Talk for a minute. Can I get your phone number? Go on a date, have sex. That's the way they want to do it. Great. Beautiful, amazing. So they will start going outside, they will start hitting on a ton of girls, they will get a bunch of phone numbers, but then they forget the mission. They forget that what they actually want is to go on some dates, have some sex, develop some intimacy, have a great time, do all of that shit. Stick the penis in the vagina and have a great time. That's what they actually want. But they forget about that. And they get lost along the way and say, I've got to develop my game. I've got to build confidence. I've got to build rapport with girls. I've got to work on my conversation skills. And they forget the entire reason that they were going out there in the first place, which was to hook up, develop some sexual skills, meet some women, maybe get a girlfriend. It's like you get caught up in the steps, the action steps that you think are going to get you there. You get lost along the way. And it's almost like you can't see the forest for the trees. And I've seen people go down rabbit holes for years before they come to, like our community where we're like, just be fucking honest. Walk up to a woman, hey, you're cute, you're sexy, what's up? Would you like to go on a date with me? You don't have to have game. You don't have to build confidence. You don't have to learn fucking social skills or build rapport or any of that bullshit. Just be honest. Literally tell her what you want. If she wants it, amazing. You guys have a great time together. If she doesn't want it, amazing. Wish her well, have love in your heart for her. Say, hey, that's beautiful. I hope you find what you're looking for. Then you go talk to the next person. That's all that it requires. and a bit of self-improvement along the way. But people get caught up in medium maximization, thinking things like game or building confidence or I got to work on my fucking text game. So many of you get caught up in like, I've got to get good at text game. Now, if you want to be good at texting someone, like if you genuinely enjoy the texting and I find that so fun, it brings me so much joy and love in my heart, that's why I like to do it. Great, have at it, enjoy that. That's amazing. But what most people do is they tell themselves that they need to be good at text game in order to meet women. No, you don't. My text game is literally, hi, would you like to try BDSM with me? This is my text game. You can see the very first message. Hey, you're cute, Amanda. I'm looking for something specific. What are you looking for? My girl and I, her name is Emmy, enjoy exploring BDSM and kink with women, helping them open up and explore in the bedroom as well as out of it. Is a BDSM threesome dynamic something you'd like to explore? That's my text game. And then the next message, she says, yeah, that sounds great. I love that. And I'm like, sweet. Like, tell me about you. What are your hobbies? Like, I want to get to know you. Make sure you're, an interesting person to me. And we got a bit of, chemistry outside of just sex. She tells us what she's into. Amazing. That's so fucking cool. Like, we'd love to grab a coffee with you and see if we like each other. Like, what's your phone number? And I can send you some pictures of BDSM, that we've done together so you can see that sort of stuff. That's it. That's my text game. That's not great text game. That's like the world's shittest text game. Or a better way of saying that maybe is like, that's the world's most direct text game. And then when I get a phone number, I'm like, hey, thanks for the phone number. Would you like to meet on Friday at 3 p.m. at Starbucks? Yes or no? If the answer is no, okay, cool. How about Saturday at this time? Okay, how about Sunday at this time? Like, that's it. That's my texting. You don't need to be amazing at text game. Again, if you enjoy the act of texting, beautiful, amazing. I'm a big advocate of all of you doing whatever you want to do. But so many people get caught up in the medium maximization, thinking that they have to get good at text game or they have to develop their game or I have to build confidence. I have to fucking learn social skills. I had someone yesterday or 2 days ago on a coaching call, and he said, the reason I'm having no luck with women, it's always funny to me when people self-diagnose why they're having no luck in dating. And it's like, motherfucker, like you as the person who's not having any luck in dating, who's not getting the results that you want, don't you think you would be the last person on the planet who would be able to accurately diagnose why you're not having results? Like, it would be like going to the doctor and being like, yeah, so I read a bunch of WebMD articles and I figured out that I actually have cancer. And that's why I'm having all these health issues. And he's like, bro, how about we actually do a little x-ray and an MRI before we fucking self-diagnose cancer or some shit, bro? Like, let's use the actual fucking expertise here a little bit. So it's funny to me when people self-diagnose. Anyway, so this guy self-diagnosed and said, the reason that I'm not having the results I want with dating is because I'm not good at sub-communication with women. And women love sub-communication, and you can never just be honest and say what you want with a woman. You have to sub-communicate it in subtle ways with like body language and hinting at stuff and all of that. And I was like, bro, fuck that. You walk up to a woman and say, hey, you're sexy. Would you like to go on a date with me? That's your fucking sub-communication. And then when you're on a date, you go, you're so fucking pretty. Can I kiss you? And she'll giggle and go, okay, you can kiss me. And then you kiss her. There's your fucking sub-communication. You're just honest about what you want. Do you know how many women are fucking crying out for men to just be honest and real and say what they want? If you want to hook up, be honest about that. So the women that want that can say, yes, please, that's amazing. Thank you for being honest. And the women who don't want that can say, that's amazing. Thank you for being honest. I don't want that. I'm looking for something more long-term. Thank you for telling me what you're wanting instead of trying to fucking manipulate your way into my panties. Now I can leave and go talk to the person who wants the same thing as me. Do you know how many women are fucking crying out for honesty? Like fucking gagging for it, begging for it. Do you know how many times women have said to me in my life, thank you for being honest? Probably like 1,000 times on dating apps and in person and in real life and all of that. So you can just be completely honest. But again, people get caught up, and this guy had been getting caught up in going down rabbit holes of like learning pickup artist jargon, learning how to sub-communicate, learning how to like fucking have great game. How do I do this? And all of that was just leaving him neurotic, disconnected from women, treating them like the other, like there's some weird thing that you have to fucking try and understand and figure out. And like, I got to figure out their sub-communication. I got to figure out how to communicate with them. I got to figure out how to just, get what I want, but without saying it. And I have to play this weird fucking game of like trying to mind read what they want and trying to get them to mind read me. I have to try and like with telepathy, try and like transmit my thoughts into her brain. I have to try and use subcommunication. It's like, bro, while you're spending literally months or years figuring out subcommunication and all of that stuff, I've had sex with like 50 women by just saying like, hi, you're sexy. Would you like to have sex with me? Here's what I'm offering. Here's my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. Here's the photos that we've taken together with women and with ourselves. Here's the BDSM we like to do. Would you like to meet up for a threesome? Oh, I'd really love that. That sounds so nice. Like, thank you. And you're like, cool, sweet, great. We'll meet at Starbucks and see if we like each other. And if we do, have a great first date. And then the second date is when we'll have sex. How does that sound? And she's like, that sounds really good. Great. Meet for the first date. Hey, what BDSM stuff have you tried? Oh, nothing really. Okay, cool. Like, what stuff are you into? Oh, maybe like this and this and this. Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. We've tried that. That's really fun. Like, it's so hot. It's really sexy. It's really fun. What other stuff would you like to try? We just talk about it. Like, you don't need this fucking subcommunication. Women are human beings. It's such a radical fucking notion, but it's hilarious because feminists have been saying it for the last fucking 50 or 100 years. We're people too. We're just human beings. And like every man is like, they say they're human beings and they say they like honesty. And they've been telling us since the dawn of time that they like men who communicate and they wish men would open up to them more and they wish men would just talk to them. But that must be a shit test. She can't really be meaning that. So let me figure out how do I fucking like figure out how to like communicate what I want to her, but without actually saying it. It's like, for fuck's sakes, just listen to the goddamn women when they're saying, can you just talk to us normally, please? Instead of all this weird fucking shit that you're doing, this weird fucking like pickup shit and these weird lines and subcommunication. And I can't just tell her what I want. Do you know how many times I've been on like podcasts and live streams with other people who are into pickup and they're wonderfully amazing human beings. I have nothing but love for them, but they get so caught up in their own superstitions. And someone will ask them a question. You know, one of the people in the chat will say, like one of the audience members will say, how do I get a woman back to my place? And these pickup guys will say, well, listen, so you got to have some context and some subtext. You got to say like, hey, let's go back to my place and we'll have a drink and we'll watch a movie. And then she says, what movie? And then you got to be like, hey girl, like we'll watch, I don't know, like this movie and we'll do this. And you're trying to basically get her back to your place without just telling her the fucking truth. And all the pickup guys will answer the question like that. And then it will be my turn to answer. And they'll be like, yeah, Andy, like, do you have anything to add? And I'll be like, when you're on the date with her and you like her, why don't you just say, do you want to come back to my place and fool around? And they're like, no, you can't say that. That'll never work because women don't like honesty. Women would not be able to handle that and their little fucking brain would explode and their pussy would dry up and they would shrivel up like a raisin, like a little fucking prune or something, and they wouldn't be able to handle your honesty. And I'm like, but like that's all I've done for the last like 150, 200 women that I've slept with and had threesomes with and BDSM and all of that. And they're like, no, it won't work. And then their mind has to rationalize and they'll go, that those girls were sluts. Like only sluts would do it. And it's like, okay, so let's just like let's rationalize and make up some hypotheticals and make up a bunch of bullshit. That stuff is exactly all I've done with Vietnamese and Chinese virgins who've never had sex or held hands before. And lots of Western girls that I've had sex with that have only had sex with one person or they're a virgin. Are they a slut? They're a pretty bad slut if they've never had sex with anyone before. Anyway, none of this is to disparage people that are into pickup. I understand why people get into pickup and think that they need to do medium maximization, you know, obsessing about what line do I say? What exact sentence do I say to this woman? Please tell me exactly how to get her into my bed, because they have a fear of losing a girl. They have a fear of being rejected. That's where all of that anxiety comes from. That's where that desire for perfectionism, you know, let me say the perfect pickup line, let me be perfect with my subcommunication, let me be fucking perfect with my game, let me be perfect with everything. That comes from a fear of like, what if this woman says no to me? What if I'm honest and she doesn't want the same thing as me? So what I'm going to try and do is through subcommunication and essentially not telling her what I want, I'm going to try and like get her back to my place and almost like trick her into having sex with me. Like that's what a lot of this stuff is. Like a lot of you are really afraid to say, hey, I'm looking for something casual. Is that what you're looking for? Because you go, but what if she leaves me? So what you do is you go on dates with her. You just don't mention it. You don't mention the casual thing. You go on a few dates. You guys get to know each other. You like each other. You go back to yours. You eventually have sex. After you've had sex a few times, then you go, by the way, I'm just looking for something casual. Because at that point, you're hoping she likes you enough that she'll stick around. Understand what just happened there. That is, and I'll say this in a gentle way. I'm going to try and be gentle here. Guys, that's manipulation. That's like literally manipulation. You're like scared that someone won't want what you want. And so you've done something to trick them. You've given them what might be called sunk cost fallacy. They already like you. They've already had sex with you a few times. They've already really gotten to know you over quite a few dates. And now when you mention, I want something casual, or I want to be able to date other people, I want non-monogamy, I want an open relationship. Now she's way more likely to say yes because she's like, oh, I don't want that. But like, I have feelings for this guy. And like, we've already spent a lot of time together. I don't want that to have been a waste. I guess I'll have to say yes. And it's like, that's not kind, guys. Like, I'm trying to say this in a nice way because I used to do the same stuff. None of this is said with judgment. I'm not judging any of you. I'm not judging the pickup artists who do it. It comes from a place of fear of rejection, fear of what if she doesn't like me, fear of what if I'm honest and I say, hey, I want something casual, I want something sexual, but then she goes, I don't want that. And then I go, no, I didn't have many options and I just lost, one more option. Fuck, I'm never going to find a woman. I know all these fears because I've coached guys and some women too. I've coached guys and some women through these fears for the last 4 years. Like, this is where it comes from. The obsession with game, the obsession with medium maximization, the obsession with having the perfect lines or working on your confidence or working on your text game. All of that is avoiding just being honest. But something really beautiful happens when you're honest. Some people don't want what you're looking for, and they say, thank you for being really honest. And you feel something in that moment. They say, I don't want what you're looking for, but thank you for being honest with me. I really appreciate that. Something happens inside you in that moment. You're like, wait, I feel good that she just rejected me. Aren't I supposed to feel shit that she rejected me? Isn't rejection supposed to be the thing that I avoid at all costs? I talked about this in my Play to Win video course. I have an entire chapter on how people will avoid rejection. They will play not to lose. They will try and play it safe. That's what a lot of text game stuff is. It's playing it safe and trying to avoid losing. But if you let go of all of that and say, I'm here to play to win, and the easiest way to win is to say exactly what you want, and then people who want exactly the same thing or who are open to trying it with you, maybe they didn't even know that they wanted it, but you offer it and you're honest and they go, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I'd be willing to try that. You don't know how many times with women I've just been honest and upfront about what I want, like immediately on the dating app, or as soon as I meet them in person, or as soon as I get their phone number, like immediately honest. You don't know how many of them go, oh, that's something I've never actually thought about before. I've never thought about a threesome. I've never thought about casual sex. I've never thought about BDSM or kink or anything like that. What would it entail? And you're like, well, whatever we want. I'm very open, what would you like it to entail? Here's what it often entails, but if that was too scary for you or you wanted to start with some baby steps, we could try something like this. But yeah, I'm pretty open, and so is Imi, my girlfriend, and what would you like? And they respond to that and go, well, I guess some of that sounds really interesting. Like I said, I've never thought about it, but would you guys be willing to meet me for a coffee? We can talk about it. And we're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Meet for a coffee. They go, so I'm really interested in this kink stuff and, blindfolds and orgasm denial and all this stuff you talk about and threesomes. And I'll be honest, I've never dated a woman or slept with a woman before. What's it like? And we just talk about it. And then we're on the second date or at the end of the first date, we say would you like to meet us for a second date? And we can try some of the stuff that we talked about. And they're like, yeah, I think I would. You guys seem really nice. And I think I would. And then we go fucking try it. That happens a lot of the time when you're honest. But if you're not honest, that just won't happen with those people, And so I found honesty has been such a beautiful way to not only find what I'm looking for, but also almost put it out there into the world of hey, here's what I'm looking for. And some people hear that and go, that sounds really interesting. I think I'd like to try that. But you don't get that if you're not honest and upfront immediately. You're not telegraphing what you want. You're trying to do it with subtle fucking communication and sub-communication and text game and got to say the perfect line. I got to be perfect. I got to fucking know how to neg her and fucking do all this shit. Like, all of that anxiety-inducing memorization. It's basically like school again. You know, so many people treat dating as if it's school or college all over again. It's like you're all collectively, or a lot of you were collectively traumatized from the school education system of like, you got to learn everything and fucking write it down and be perfect. And if you ever fucking don't say something perfect, you're getting a B or a C, motherfucker. You got to be perfect. Every word needs to be fucking perfect. And there is one correct answer, and I will only accept that one correct answer. It's like you got traumatized from that. And then you're like, oh, dating is exactly the same. I have to have one fucking correct answer, and I have to have the perfect way of phrasing things, and I have to do it fucking perfectly. And if I don't, she's going to reject me and leave me, just like, you know, daddy education system or mummy education system rejected me, and then college rejected me if I was ever not perfect. It's like fucking PTSD or something. But that's why you'll hear me say a lot of the time, dating is not like that. There is not one correct way of doing things. That's why I sit here and say, if you want to do text game, if you want to obsess about every little word that you say and the perfect way of saying things, do it. It's your life. That might work for you. Genuinely, that might work for you. That's why I say there's no correct way of doing dating. All I sit here and tell you is the way that has worked for me and all of my coaching clients and all of my friends. So I guess that's a lot of people. It's definitely a very peaceful way of going through dating. But if you listen to my content and say, I don't like that shit, which lots of people do. Lots of people listen to my content and go like, I don't want that shit. I want to do pickup artist stuff. Beautiful, do that. I'm not telling you that's wrong. And so there are many different ways of doing dating. But yeah, people get very caught up in like, there's only one correct way of doing dating. There's one correct thing I should say, and I have to do it like this. And if ever anyone counters that, you know, like when I go on interviews or when I gently push back and say to people, I don't even push back. I say like, hey, I'm glad you've found what works for you, the text game and all of that. I'm just honest about what I want. I just like literally say what I want, and that works for me. So isn't that beautiful that we both have two different ways of doing things? That's great. A lot of the time when I do that, the rationalizations kick in and people get very uncomfortable and they're like, your way shouldn't work. It shouldn't be working. I bet it's not working. I bet you're lying, Andy. And I'm like, well, here's my website with tons of pictures of my penis with women. Here's them coming on my podcast and talking about it. Here's all the BDSM and nude photo shoots we've all done together. Here's all the stories I've written. Imogen's written a couple of sex stories. So has one of the girls that we've dated. Actually, a couple of the girls that we've dated have written their own sex story for my website about what the sex was like from their point of view. There's a lot of proof there. But it can be very confronting if you've been caught up in like essentially, I guess what you might call superstition of like, this is the correct way of doing dating. I have to do pickup. I have to do game. I have to be like this. I can't just tell a woman what I want. Like, it's a radical notion for me to sit here, or it can feel like a radical notion to hear it for the first time when you hear me sit here and say, you can just say what you want. You know, again, when I show this on the screen and say, look, I just literally say like, hey, me and my girl want BDSM and kink and threesomes. Like, is that something you'd like? That can be very strange to see because that is not how most people do dating. Now, there are lots of people who do this style of dating. Chris from Good Looking Loser, whose website is down these days, but he also had a YouTube channel. He's the main person that I learned from, and he was literally the person who taught me. He and another guy called Caleb Jones, who I'll talk about in a second, they both taught me, yo, you can just be honest and just be like, hey, you know, you're sexy. Would you like to go on a date with me? Like, you don't have to play these fucking games. Another really good one is Caleb Jones, this guy, and he does business coaching and like business advice as well as dating advice. And he is a very big advocate of just being honest and saying like, you know, he's an older man. I think he's in his like 50s or 60s. He looks pretty good for his age. And he's just an advocate. He was the one that taught me as well as Chris. You can just be honest and say exactly what you want. And then the final one is Mark Manson, who some of you might have seen. You've probably seen this book cover. This is like a very fucking famous book. Look, it has 144,000 reviews on Amazon. Oh my God, that is popular. That's like as much as the Bible. And he's written a second book called Everything is Fucked, which is a book about hope. You know, he has very funny titles. He's actually a bit of an optimist. And he has another book called Models, which was a book that he wrote before those books. And this book is called, if you have a look at it, Attracting Women Through Honesty. And his entire shtick is how to be authentic. Like that was what he talked about. And he has a really good article, which I love, called Fuck Yes or No. You can just search Mark Manson, Fuck Yes or No. And he specifically talks about honesty and finding the people who say fuck yes and who you feel like fuck yes when you think about them. You know, you say to them, I'm looking for something casual. Would you like that? And they're like, fuck yes, I want that. If it's not a fuck yes, like if it's a maybe, or if it's like, like, I don't know, then it's a no. You count that as a no. And so this article is him talking about go out there and be honest. You know, I love the way he starts this. Think about this for a moment. Why would you ever choose to be with someone who is not excited to be with you? And the easiest way to find out if someone is excited to be with you is to be honest and upfront and direct about what it is that you want. And then the people who say, hell yeah, I'm excited about that. I would love to do that. They say yes to you. You go on a date with them. You have beautiful, amazing experiences together. But lots of people get sort of caught up in the fear of rejection and the fear of what if she doesn't like me? What if I am upfront and honest with her and I tell her what I want, but then she says, I don't want that? It's like, great, then you figured that out immediately. Wouldn't you rather figure that out now rather than 3 months into dating someone or having sex with someone? Wouldn't it be much easier to figure that out upfront rather than waste your time and her time, and then you feel guilty for doing that? Then she feels disappointed. She's like, why didn't you just fucking tell me this up front? Why did you lead me on? You know, so many people are very willing. They don't mean to. Like a lot of you guys that do this, you don't mean to. But people will lead each other on in dating because they're just really scared to be upfront and vulnerable. And I get that. Like I said, I used to be exactly the same. I did the same shit. You know, that's why I speak from experience here. I did so much pickup artist stuff. I had so much game. I was obsessed with text game. I was obsessed with like the red pill. I was obsessed with all of that stuff, that there's like a right way of doing things. You know, I've written so many articles about this. You know, I wrote this banger of an article back in 2020, a long time ago, 4 or so years ago, more than 4 years ago, 4.5, called Most Pickup Artists Are Theatrical Wizards Who Don't Actually Want to Get Laid. And I talk about how, you know, wizardry for wizardry's sake. A lot of people get so focused on medium maximization. That's what this entire chapter of this article is about. You know, you get so caught up in, I've got to do the wizardry, you know, I've got to have the pickup lines. I've got to look smooth. I've got to be an expert. I've got to memorize everything like I'm in school again. I've got to have all these like fucking scripts that I read out. And if she says this, then I have to say that. But then if she says this other thing, here's the correct response. You're like getting caught up in the wizardry of it rather than the actual goal which you had at the start, which was to get laid or to get a girlfriend or to have sexual experiences with someone. Like whatever your goal actually is, you know, you're all going to have different goals. So that's this article. This article is basically the exact video that I'm doing right now, talking about medium maximization. And a lot of people get so caught up in the pickup artist stuff that they forget that the entire reason they started was to have sex. And again, I even talk about it in this article where I say, if you genuinely enjoy the pickup artist wizardry, like if that's genuinely fun for you, no hate, enjoy it. I literally say that at the start. I say like some people genuinely enjoy the wizardry stuff and memorizing the lines and saying everything perfectly and the game and push pull and all of that. Good, enjoy that. This article isn't for you. This video here today isn't for you. If you genuinely love pickup artist stuff, why would you be watching my video talking about how I don't use that stuff? You'd be out there enjoying the pickup artist stuff. You'd watch my video and you'd go, yeah, Andy's just talking about what he likes, but I like my pickup artist stuff. It's cool that we have different things that we like. Isn't that beautiful? There's many different ways to do it. So, you know, as I even said in this article, this isn't an attack on pickup artists, you know? All I care about is guys just being honest with themselves about what they really want and being self-aware. And a lot of you get caught up in like the pickup artist stuff and game and all of that. And then if I say to you, what do you want? You say, I want to meet women and have a lot of sex. And then I'm like, then why the fuck are you memorizing pickup lines and shit? Why are you trying to be perfect? Go talk to 100 women, be imperfect, tell them they're sexy, ask them out on a date. Go do that. You'll get far more results than memorizing pickup books and rehearsing in front of the mirror and thinking of the lines that you're going to say and all of that. You will literally get more results doing a shitty job, but talking to more women. Like you can be the worst, most unconfident person ever. If you go and talk to 1,000 women, you will beat the person who has perfect pickup lines, but only talks to 10 women. Like the guy that just does the numbers game above all else and talks to 1,000 women will absolutely fucking kill it. But the guy that only talks to 10 women, even though he's perfect, he might be the smoothest, most perfect person ever, but 9 of those 10 women might be taken. And then the 10th one just doesn't really like guys who are pickup artists, and so she's not really, or she doesn't like his vibe or his look or something, and so boom, he's wasted his 10 opportunities. But the guy that's imperfect, that talks to 1,000 women, will find the one woman. I mean, there'll be more than one, but we'll find like 10 or 20 women who happen to be single, happen to be available, are looking to date or looking to hook up, and you happen to show up, and you're shitty, and you're not perfect, and you're a bit of a fucking mess, but you give yourself permission to suck, and you aim to be a little bit better with every approach or every woman that you talk to, and that woman will go, hey, I appreciate that he actually talked to me. I would probably have rather slept with some smooth, fucking attractive, James Bond, hot, muscular, perfect human being that I see in movies and shit, but that guy never fucking talks to me because that guy doesn't really exist, or he's really rare. This guy's the one that talked to me, and he's not perfect, but fuck it, let's go on a date with him. Boom, that guy has sex. And so it's about the numbers game more than being perfect. The numbers game trumps all. Another article I wrote is called, Oh No, You've Angered the Gods. And I talked about superstition and how, in this quest to avoid rejection, we can develop superstitions. And we go, oh, you can never just invite a woman to your place and be honest and say, hey, would you like to come back to my place and make out a little bit and fool around and see if we want to go further? You can't say that. Because one time I tried saying that and she said, no, thank you. I have work in the morning. And see, it didn't work. See, so now my superstition kicks in. Now I develop a superstition. Now I know that you have to be more subtle about it. You have to be like, hey, would you like to come over and Netflix and chill? Like people develop superstitions because they're so terrified of rejection. Again, I talk about this in depth in the Play to Win video course in the chapter. Actually, I talked about it in 2 chapters in the Play to Win video course. I talk about it in this one, play to win instead of playing not to lose. When we're trying to avoid rejection, that's us trying not to lose. But we're here to play to win. And so we don't care about rejection. Rejection is a beautiful thing. There's no such thing as rejection. It's a learning lesson. It's someone who didn't want what you want. How's that a rejection? They just said, no, thank you. I don't want that. That's not a fucking rejection. That's just the person not wanting what you want. But then the other chapter I talk about this is overcoming fear, limiting beliefs, and self-doubt. So, yeah, back to this article. Oh no, you've angered the gods. I talk about all the superstition that we develop. And my boy, the guy that you just saw me talk about before, Caleb Jones, he did a video on this. And he said the one main excuse that guys use to avoid like taking action. And he said, but I tried that before. Like I tried being honest before and it didn't work. And it's like, you tried it like 1, 2, maybe 5 times. And also it did work. You just said it didn't work. The 5 women said to you, hey, thanks for being honest. I'm not looking for that. And you go, see, it didn't work. And it's like, honesty is a screening tool. You're seeing if some people want what you want, and then you're finding out if they don't want what you want. And so them saying, hey, thank you for being honest, I don't want that, that's it working. Honesty is not something that you do that suddenly brainwashes everyone into saying, yes, hello, I am a robot and I'm going to do whatever you want. I will be your puppet. I will do everything you want. No, that's not honest. That's not what honesty is for. Honesty is for finding out quickly, immediately, if people want what you want, or if they don't, so then you can move on to the next person and talk to them and see if they want it. Rather than spending hours, days, weeks, months, years being caught up in someone who doesn't want the same thing you want and wasting all of your time on someone who was never going to date you or never going to do the thing that you wanted them to, like participate in the thing you wanted them to participate in. Here is another article I wrote called It's You and Me, Not You Versus Me. And I talk about how you can be on the same team with women, or any of you women listening, you can be on the same team as men. Any of you gays or bisexuals, on the same team as whoever the fuck you want to fuck. And I also have a couple of follow-up videos in that article. Women are on your team and you're treating dating like a boxing match. It doesn't have to be men versus women. You're both on the same fucking team. You're on team humanity. You're just so busy saying it's men versus women. No, it's fucking humans with humans. So yeah, this article, I talk about all of that. I have a few other articles where I talk about pickup artist stuff, like there's no such thing as alpha and how you get this idea of like, I have to be a perfect alpha male who never has emotions. So many of you get terrified of having an emotion, or like you'll feel angry and then you'll get angry about the fact that you were angry. Like, does that resonate with some of you when I say that? Probably. So I talk about that in this article. And then I have another article about like the red pill and lots of people, I make it clear at the start, like I like the core message of the red pill, which is like, just shut up and improve yourself. I think that's a beautiful message. I think the red pill helped me a hell of a lot. Nothing but love for them. But there are a lot of people in there that get caught up in superstition, and they're like, you can't be honest with women because one time I was honest with a woman and it didn't work out. So yeah, I've talked about all of that in articles, lots of videos, etc. But yeah, I hope all of this comes across as not me shitting on pickup artists. I have nothing but love for men that go out there and actually try to talk to women. I think that's incredibly courageous. I think it's one of the scariest things that a lot of men ever do in their life. And so even if you find yourself getting a little bit caught up in like the anxiety of, I need to memorize all the lines, I have to be perfect, I can't fuck this up, I have to be smooth, she has to like me, I have to make every woman like me, I can't just be honest and clumsy and give myself permission to suck because the worst thing ever would happen, I'd get rejected. If you get caught up in that, that's pretty fucking normal. Like, you are going out there to do something that for a lot of people is really terrifying. And let's be honest, guys, the vast majority of men don't go out and hit on people they don't know. The vast majority of human beings don't talk to people that they don't know. They'll talk to them, if they're at a retail store or a grocery store and they have to talk to the person who's working at the store, fine. But they don't like walk up to a stranger and be like, hi, how's your day going? Would you like to go on a date with me? Like, fucking nobody does that. It's so unbelievably rare. And so I really want to make this clear. If some guy is going out there and just even fucking trying, and the thing that helps him the most, like if he feels like the thing that helps him the most is memorizing a bunch of pickup lines and working on his game and building confidence and developing rapport with girls, if that's genuinely the crutch that he uses to help himself better himself and share the love that he has in his heart with the women that he ends up dating or sleeping with, fucking beautiful, great, amazing. All I'm saying here is that it's not necessary. You're allowed to skip that crutch if you want to and jump straight to honesty. And that's something that you can practice. You can use the pickup lines a little bit if you want to, and then just practice trying every now and then. What if every 1 in 10 girls, I just be honest with her and I say, hey, you're really sexy or you're really cute and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm kind of nervous. Please be nice to me. But I wanted to come up and tell you that you're really pretty. And I wanted to, ask if you're single. Are you single? And she'll go, wow, like, thank you for being honest. Yes, I am single. And he goes, sweet, great. Like, do you want to hang out? Do you want to talk for a bit? What are you doing today? What are you up to? And she'll go, oh, I'm just, I'm shopping. You're like, sweet. Like, what are you shopping for? Like, anything cool? Oh, like, not really. Just trying on some clothes. And you can be like, cool. Do you want to go shopping together? And she'll be like, what do you mean? And you're like, well, fuck it. Like, you said you're single, girl. Like, I'm assuming you're reasonably attracted to me. Otherwise, you would have told me I'm not single. You would have just politely said, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not single. So you obviously like me. I like you. Why don't we just hang out for another like half an hour or so? And then I can get your phone number. We can see if we want to go on a proper date or something, or we could go on a date now. What do you want to do? Like, you just have a casual fucking chat. It's a human being. It's not this scary thing that you have to like build yourself up to like go on cold approach. I say this all the time. You don't even have to call it approaching. You can just say, I'm saying hi to women. Hi. And she's like, hi. And you're like, you're pretty. And she's like, thank you. Like, what's your name? And you're like, I'm Andy. Yeah, I just thought you're pretty. I wanted to fucking tell you you're pretty. Like, are you single? Yeah, I am. Sweet. All right, what are we going to do together, pretty girl? You want to hang out? You want to talk? What do you want to do? And she's like, I don't know. You hit on me. And you're like, what the fuck? I thought you hit on me. And she's like, no, you're the one that approached me. You came and hit on me. And you're like, that's not the way I remember it. I'm pretty sure you hit on me, woman. I was just minding my own business and you told me that I'm pretty. You told me that I'm really attractive. And she's like, you told me that. And you're like, huh. Maybe I'm gaslighting you right now. Maybe I don't remember what happened. Anyway, you're pretty. Can I get your number? And she's like, okay. Like, you can fucking do whatever you want. I just made all that up. You don't need a bunch of pickup lines. I used to walk up to women and just whatever was in my heart or my mind in that moment, I would do that. Like, I went through this long period of time where I was just like, I'm going to try fucking anything and everything, whatever I feel like. There were some women I would like get their attention by just like waving at them like this. Like, we'd be walking towards each other on a busy street and I'd be waving like this, like fucking like waving like crazy. And they'd like look around and then I'd just be staring at them and I'd point at them. So I'd be like, you. So I'd get their attention. I'd be like this. And then they'd stop and they'd be like, hello? And then I'd be like, yeah, I just thought you were really pretty. And yeah, I just had to stop you. You're so fucking pretty. And she's like, stop. Like, don't say that. Like, thank you. And you just fucking talk. I would have some women that I would get their attention, you know, I'd point at them. And then if you point at someone, if you just point at someone, they will look at you, especially if you have a giant smile on your face. If you're just walking towards someone on the street and you just like big fucking dumb smile, doesn't matter if it's fake, doesn't matter, just smile like a fucking retard and point at someone, they will eventually, their peripheral vision will like see you and they'll be like, is that guy pointing at me? And you have a big smile on your face. And when you get close, they'll like look at you and you just keep pointing. And then you take your hand away and you're like, you're so fucking pretty. Like, I'm sorry, I had to stop. You're so unbelievably fucking pretty. And then she'll just be like, oh my God, like, thank you. Are you single? Yes or no? Like, you get an answer either way. Something else I used to do is I would get women's attention and I would just smile at them. And I wouldn't say a single word. Like I would just sit on a bench next to them, get their attention. They'd look at me and I just have a big goofy smile on my face. Or I'd be walking with them and I'd like, you know, wave at them and they'd look at me and then I'd just have a big shit-eating grin on my face. And I would say nothing, like smiling for like 10 seconds straight. And every single time I would do that, no matter how grumpy the person looked or like if they just looked like they were in their own head, if someone is waving at you and smiling at you like a fucking retard, like a shit-eating massive grin on their face, and they say nothing, you can't help but giggle or laugh because it's like fucking hilarious. Imagine someone just walks up to you, waves at you, and you're like, hey, what's up? And they're just smiling like like they just won the lottery or something. They're just like fake smile, doesn't matter. Just smile like a fucking retard. And they laugh, and then they're like, what? Why are you smiling? And you just keep smiling. And then they start smiling and they start giggling and they're like, why are you smiling at me? Like, what's going on right now? Like, what is this? Is this like a social experiment? Like, what is this? What's going on? Like, is this for a YouTube video? Like, what are you doing? And you just smile for like 20 seconds and they'll keep giggling. And then you go, I'm so sorry. Like, you're so fucking cute. You're pretty. Don't even have good words to say right now. I can't think straight because you're so pretty. And she's like, oh my God, like, fucking thank you. And you're like, are you single? And she's like, yes, I am single. And you're like, cool, I'm Andy. Turns out I can talk. Okay, I have words now. Fine. I'm Andy. What's your name? What are you doing? Like, you can do anything you fucking want. You really don't need perfect pickup lines. And I never had them. In fact, I went through a period where I thought I needed them and I practiced them and I did all of that. You know, the red pill phase that I went through. It just made me more anxious and disconnected from the women that I was talking to. And it felt like a lie. It didn't feel like I was just being authentic and honest with them. It felt like I was saying some rehearsed fucking script, like I was a movie character or something. But when I got out of my own head and just let my heart speak, or I let my mind speak, whatever thought was in my head, I just said that, as long as it was like a nice thought, you know, like, you get the point. Whatever I wanted to do, that's what I did. And that felt like the nicest way for me to do this approaching thing. That's the, you know, Good Looking Loser said it. That's the ultimate alpha male rule, is do whatever the fuck you want. Like, let go of these rules of like, here's how to be an alpha male. Here's how to be a sigma male. Just do whatever the fuck you want. If you want to walk up to her and grin like a fucking retard for 20 minutes and then tell her she's pretty, I mean, maybe not 20 minutes, 20 seconds, and then tell her she's pretty, do that. If you want to walk up and be like, holy fuck, you are so hot. What the fuck, girl? And she's like, thank you, but like, what do you mean? You're like, this is illegal. Like, you should not be this hot. This is fucked up. Like, how are you this fucking attractive? This is like all these, this isn't fair on the other girls. Like, what the fuck are you doing, woman? Like, I feel bad for all these other girls. Why are you like this? And she's like, stop it. Like, what are you doing? You're like, are you single? And if she's like, yeah, you're like, don't fucking lie to me, bitch. There's like no way you are single. Like, get fucked. You're not single. You're not single. And then she'll be like, hey, stop it. I am. And you're like, okay, we got to fix that. Like, do you want to fucking go on a date with me or some shit? Because like, that's illegal. Like, you should not be this attractive, first of all. That's fucked up. I should write you a ticket right now or fucking arrest you and report you to the police. And then second of all, you should not be single. That's fucked. That's insane. Like, we're going to fix this right now. Like, give me your phone number. We got to do something about this. Like, if you want to fucking do that, do that. Do whatever fucking retarded shit comes into your head. Again, with maybe the caveat of, as long as it's nice to people and you're not like forcing them to do something. But I feel like most of you get that anyway. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching my content. And so say whatever you want, do whatever you want, be whatever you want, enjoy the fucking process. You go on a date, talk about whatever you want, talk about deep and meaningful shit. So many of you hold back and you're afraid of like, I can't tell her that I'm into anime. I've had so many clients in the last year, I don't know why, just in the last year, be like, I can't tell a girl that I like anime. And it's like, why? What if she likes anime and you didn't bring it up and then you never get to talk about anime? And I've had quite a few girls that Emmy and I have dated that are into cosplay. In fact, we did a fucking interview with one. who was into like cosplay and anime and all that beautiful nerdy shit. This video here, you can just search my channel for cosplay, just search for like cosplay or OnlyFans. And we did an interview with this girl. And look at those cool pictures that we took together. We took a bunch of pictures together and stuff like that. And she came on a podcast and shared, like, talked about how she loves anime. That's her in the thumbnail. That's her in the middle, obviously, and on the right-hand side. That's her cosplaying. She's fucking obsessed with anime. And so, yeah, so many of you are afraid of, like, I can't tell girls that I like anime or that I am into Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, bro, there are girls out there that like that shit. You're never going to meet them because you're not being honest. You're so afraid of losing that you're playing not to lose. And then guess what? You never get to win. You don't meet the OnlyFans and cosplay girls. Or sorry, not the OnlyFans girls, the cosplay and anime girls. On the interview with her, I said to her, hey, I have quite a few clients who've asked me, how do I meet girls who are into anime? And literally what she said is you have to put anime in your bio on dating apps. Like, otherwise, how am I, the girl that likes that shit, going to find you? I'm going to match with the guys that like the same shit as me. And if I see that you have like fucking One Piece or whatever, like Bleach, fuck, that's an old anime that I used to watch so long ago. I only know really old anime. I used to watch a ton of anime when I was younger. I don't know any of the modern day shit. I know like Ghost in the Shell, Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, Cowboy Bebop. I know all these old shit, but I don't know any of the new shit. One Piece, that's about it. Pokemon, there you go, that's a fucking anime. But yeah, if you don't put that shit in your bio, how's she going to find you? And so that's playing to win. It's risking rejection. It's risking somebody potentially like criticizing you and calling you a nerd. But then you get a chance to fucking win. You get to find the anime nerdy girls. You know, if you walk up to women and just say what's in your heart, I find you really attractive and are you single? Because I'd love to take you out for a date. If you just walk up and say that, you have infinitely more chance of finding the girl who wants that. But if you walk up and say, hi girl, like, can you tell me directions of how to get to like the train station? And she's like, oh, go this way. Oh, great. By the way, what's your favorite vegetable? Do you like broccoli more than asparagus? Like, if you go the indirect route, you just have infinitely less chance of finding what you actually want. Because it's going to take you like 10 fucking minutes to get to the point of like, by the way, I want to ask you out. And then she's like, oh, I'm not single. I wish you'd asked me that at the start. Was this whole conversation you just like fucking wasting my time because you were scared to ask if I'm single? Like, you just wasted 10 minutes of my time. You know, Imogen has told me stories. Every female friend I've ever had has told me stories of like, oh man, this guy hit on me today and he talked to me for like 15 minutes. And I think he was hitting on me. But it wasn't clear because he didn't ask me if I'm single. He didn't tell me that I'm attractive. He didn't do anything to make it seem like he was hitting on me. He just asked me for random directions to some fucking restaurant or some shit. And it took like 10 minutes and I didn't want to leave because I didn't want to be rude. Like, because he was asking me questions. I was trying to help him. But then finally he said, by the way, we should go out for a drink sometime. You seem like my next girlfriend. We should go out on a date sometime. And then I said to him, oh, I'm really sorry. I have a boyfriend. Like, and then he looked really butthurt and then we left and it was awkward. I have had so many female friends tell me that. Basically, every girl I've ever dated has told me a story of at least a couple of guys that have hit on them in their lifetime saying like, yeah, this guy just like, I think he was hitting on me. But he talked to me for like 15 fucking minutes and wasted my time. And I don't feel good about that. And I don't think he does either. Because he was scared of rejection. He was scared of just walking up being like, hey, you're pretty, you're really pretty, you're attractive, you're hot, you're sexy, you're cute, whatever. You know, whatever you feel for her. Are you single? Like, if you just walk up and do that, in the time that that guy spent, you know, having a 10 or 15 minutes conversation, I shit you not, I once saw a pickup artist guy that was like there was like a pickup artist group. And they were teaching each other pickup and stuff. They talked to some woman for 45 minutes. You might be like, that's an exaggeration, Andy. No, me and my friends sat there because we were like, no fucking way. He's not, like, they must know each other. And I was like, no, dude, like, that's that pickup artist group that always goes around on a Tuesday and they're trying to like talk to women and stuff, which again, nothing but love for those brothers. Like, that's amazing that they're going out there on the front lines. But we sat there and watched and it was like 45 minutes. And she had her arms crossed and she was kind of just like sometimes like looking like she wanted to leave, but she was like being nice. And, you know, they ended up talking. And then not one point did he get his phone number or at no point did he get his phone out or her phone. So I assume they didn't trade phone numbers or something. And that group was a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where they've made their mission to just learn how to have a 45-minute long conversation with someone. But the reason that they're doing that is because they're trying to meet women and have sex and have a relationship and have a partner. So why are you having a 45-minute conversation with someone that's not available? That would be like if my goal was to make money from coaching. Why would I talk to someone where in the first minute I say, hey, are you interested in coaching? Are you interested in self-improvement? And they say like, no, not really. Why would I have a 45-minute conversation with them about the weather? Like, oh, okay, cool. Self-improvement. Yeah, don't worry about that. How about the weather though? Like, what kind of vegetables do you like? That's not adding to my life. That's not moving me towards my goal. And again, if you say, but I want to go out there and learn to talk to women, beautiful, do that. But why don't you just do that with the women that are available? Why don't you walk up to the women and say, hey, you're really cute. Are you single? And she goes, yes. And then that woman you have a 45-minute conversation with. And if you're scared to do that, you can baby step your way to that. You can start by saying, hey, I'm really nervous to do this. I don't do this very much. I haven't done this much at all. Please be nice to me. But I thought you were really pretty and I wanted to see if you're single. Are you single? Like you can literally say that bit at the start. I'm really nervous. I don't know what I'm doing. Please be nice to me. And they will. Like think about it. If someone comes up to you, women are nice anyway. I've done so many videos about this. But if someone comes up to you and says, I'm really scared, I'm really nervous, please be nice to me. Are you going to be nice to them? Yes. Most people, especially in a fucking Western country where most of you are listening, most people will be really nice to you if you go up and say, I'm nervous, please be nice to me. They will go like, holy shit, I'm going to be extra nice to you. And you know what? Because you told me you're nervous, fucking massive respect for that. I have nothing but respect for your courage. This obviously took balls. You're obviously very scared. Otherwise, you wouldn't be this nervous. So yeah, I think maybe we'll start wrapping up. This is medium maximization, which is the tendency to get caught up in the things that maybe like they're helping you with your goal a little bit, but it's almost like you lose sight of the goal. You forget the reason you were doing this in the first place. And with women, like with dating, for a lot of you, it's like, I want a girlfriend, or you women, I want a boyfriend. But you get so caught up in the middle steps of like, oh, so I should go talk to someone for 45 minutes when they're not interested. I can't be honest and upfront. I got to learn pickup. I got to learn this. Like you get distracted because you don't know any better. Like you don't know that you can just walk up and be honest. That's basically the point of my channel, is to tell all of you whatever you want. You're allowed to just like literally say that to people. And some of them will say, I want that too. And you go, whoa, was it really this easy the whole time? Yeah. Just nobody told you. Not nobody. Very few people told you. Good Looking Loser will tell you. Caleb Jones will tell you. Mark Manson will tell you. I will tell you. There's tons of other people that talk about honesty. And to be fair, some of the pickup artist guys that I'm friends with like a guy called Marcus from UMP. Some of you will know him. I'm friends with Alex from Playing with Fire. They're like reasonably honest and upfront. To be fair, they're pretty upfront and honest. They don't use too many games. They are pretty upfront about what they want. Sometimes they say, I've heard them both say things like, you can't just tell a woman, come straight to my place and let's fool around. But like, for the most part, I like those guys a lot. I have nothing but respect for those guys. So there's lots of people out there. I just listed like 6 people, Playing with Fire, UMP, fucking Caleb Jones, Mark Manson. Who else did I say? Good Looking Loser. Me. That's like quite a lot of people, and that's only in these immediate circles. There's lots of dating advice people, dating coaches who say, just be honest. Like, there's a lot of people that say that. It's just that most people think that you have to play games and do all this other bullshit. And all of this applies to business and stuff too. I once had, or one of my friends said his goal was to make as much money as possible. And I was like, sweet, that sounds cool. And I remember I met up with him one time. This was a couple of years ago. He's learned his lesson now. But I met up with him and we'd both started our businesses around about the same time. And he said, Andy, how's yours going? And I was like, bro, it's going great. Like literally, like people are telling me I'm changing their life, which feels so unbelievably humbling to hear. And then they're paying me for that. Dude, it's going far beyond anything I ever could have imagined. And now Imogen is on board. Like she's now part of the business too. She's doing lots of jobs for me and I'm paying her bills. Like we're basically running the business together. Dude, it's amazing. Like I tell him all of that. And then I was like, how's it going for you? Like, what have you been up to? Because we only meet like once every 6 months or so. He lives like far away. And I was like, what have you been up to for the last 6 months? And he's like, dude, so listen, I've been hard at work designing all these spreadsheets and I'm keeping track of all the customers that we're going to have in the future. And I've coded, like he's a software engineer guy. He's like, I've hand coded like a project that's a piece of software that's going to like keep track of all the customers and their email addresses and their phone numbers. And I was like, bro, that shit already exists. There's something called like Salesforce. There's like, it's called CRM. Is it called CRM? customer relations management, whatever. There's a word for it. There's an entire industry of software. I think it's called like CRM or something, that's literally designed to like store customers' phone numbers and their email addresses, and like you can write notes, and it's what like fucking most of the world uses. Most of the world uses something called Salesforce. So I was like, okay, you've hard coded all this shit for the last 6 months. Fine. How many potential customers have you replied? Have you emailed? Sorry. Like, how many people have you reached out to and said, hey, would you like my product? And he goes, none, because I've been hard at work for the last 6 months designing this spreadsheet and coding everything and all of that. And I was like, bro, that's action faking. Like, that's what I just blurted it out. I was like, bro, that's action faking. Like, you're basically jerking yourself off on fucking spreadsheets. Like, you haven't done anything. Bro, like you've set up the foundation when someone already did that work for you. Again, it's called Salesforce. I think they even have a free fucking version if you have like below 100 customers or whatever. Like, bro, you said you wanted to make money. You haven't done anything to make money. And when I said that, he was like, whoa, wait. I thought I was being productive. And I was like, dude, you've been fucking action faking. Dude, this isn't making you money. This is you procrastinating because you're scared. And he was like, holy fuck, he's a very self-aware guy. He was like, holy fuck, dude. And like, we had a big, like, basically breakdown in that moment, and we talked about it. And I was like, it's okay. Like, don't stress, bro. It's fine. Calm down. Let's just email some customers. Can you email 10 of your customers? He had like an email newsletter list. You know, he writes a blog and stuff. I was like, can you just email your whole blog list and say like, does anyone want this book that I'm about to write? Like, is there interest in this? Would anyone pay me money? Would anyone pay me for coaching? So he did that. You know, he now has built his business a lot more. He still works his job, but he likes his job. This business, I don't know, within the next 2 years, I could see him going full-time with this business. So the point is, he's done a lot now. But yeah, that happens so much. We can get caught up in this like action faking thing. You know, like again, guys going, I'm going to go read 50 pickup artist books instead of going outside and talking to women. I'm trying to like build the confidence to go talk to women. It's like, no, dude, like just give yourself permission to suck. Go outside and say hi. If you can't do that, go outside and walk around and try and smile at some women. That's progress. Do that every day for a couple of weeks and you'll work up the confidence to say hi to them. If you can't even smile at them, like that's too scary. Just walk around outside and think about smiling at them. I promise you, if you just walk around for like a week or two in a row thinking about it, like literally being out there on the front lines trying, eventually you'll accidentally smile at someone. Then you'll accidentally say hello to someone. Then eventually you go, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to actually ask for their phone number. Like put yourself out on the front lines and you get that exposure therapy and then you're able to do the thing. But you don't need to read 100 pickup artist books. I even say this all the time. You don't have to watch all my fucking videos. Like turn my goddamn YouTube channel off. Go outside and say hello to a woman, or any of you women listening. Go say hi to the cute barista in the coffee shop, you know? One of Imogen's best friends has had this crush on the guy that works at like the barista at her local coffee shop. And Imogen has been trying to tell her for so long, why don't you just say hello to him properly and say, are you single? Would you like to go out? And she's like, no, I can't do that. Like, what would be the perfect way of saying it? Like, how do I phrase it in a way that seems non-needy and like I'm not a loser? Like, and she's like, just fucking take a chance and risk being a loser. Why don't you you're never going to go out with the guy if you don't say like, hi, you know, I think you're cute. Would you like to go out with me? But you're sitting there like telling yourself you have to be perfect. You're focusing on medium maximization instead of actually taking action and doing the thing that would get you towards your goal. So it can be very easy to like feel like you're action faking, and it's okay to do that. Like we all do that. I've done that a million times. Like none of this I'm saying to make you feel guilty or ashamed or any of that. Let all that shit go. It's okay if you action fake sometimes. It's okay if you feel like you want to procrastinate because you're scared. You know, I talk about all of this in the Play to Win video course. That's probably the best answer I can give all of you guys. Go buy the Play to Win video course. You can pay whatever you want for it. It's pay by donation, whatever you would like to donate to me, even if that is just $1. But I talk a lot about playing to win rather than playing not to lose. In other words, how to let go of the fear of rejection, how to let go of like medium maximization and action faking, how to actually take action. If you want my help with this, my coaching program is probably the fucking best way of doing this. You know, literally the whole point of the coaching program is we will point out immediately, bro, I think you're action faking right now. Hey, try this instead. Like we pointed out within like fucking 10 minutes of you doing it. And then we're like, hey, try this instead. You don't need to worry about that, bro. It's fine. Don't stress about that. Just do this instead. And they're like, okay, cool. Thank you. And they save themselves weeks or months or years. Like that is what you're paying for in the coaching program. You are literally saving yourself years of doing things that don't actually help you, doing things that are just action faking. So many of you work so fucking hard on your goals. You are being so diligent with your goals and busting your ass, but you don't have the results that you want. You've been doing it for months or years. Don't you think it's time to try a different way? I'll leave a link to the coaching program. We can help you stop action faking. We can help push you, or direct you, I guess, towards the actions that will actually help you. I'll leave a link to that in the description below.